Good evening and thank you for joining us. Elementary students with Lakehead Public Schools will have 3 straight days off this week as 2 different teachers' unions go ahead with strike action. The OSSTF is continuing its rotating one-day strikes, and the ETFO is escalating its job action to 2 days a week. This after contract talks with the Ford government broke down on Friday evening. The strikes leave parents having to find alternative plans for their kids, and for some, it's not an easy task. However, most of the parents we spoke to today say they understand why it's gotten to this point. Michael Mohorevich reports.
Next 3 days, parents at C.D. Howe Public School won't be dropping their kids off at the Kiss and Ride. Instead, they'll be making other arrangements as teacher strikes ramp up in the ongoing labor dispute between the unions and the Ford government.
Well, it is affecting my day-to-day. I'm having to find childcare, so there is that. But I'm standing with the teachers. I think that it's really important what they are representing. They want to support the kids and all the assistance that they need in the classes.
I think what the government is trying to do is terrible for the kids. Class sizes need to be smaller. I have kids who need the extra help and have IEPs, and so to me, the huge classes, the e-learning, I think is just ridiculous.
The same feeling was shared at Grand Morgan Public School, where parents we spoke to are siding with the unions in the ongoing dispute.
I think that the cuts to education and to support are devastating. I have a child with autism who is in the special needs program here, and our family has been affected in a big way, not just by the education cuts, but the cuts to the autism program.
100% with the teachers, absolutely. The only reason that they're striking is for our kids.
Parents we spoke to at both schools don't seem to mind the inconvenience the strikes are causing them, knowing what's at stake.
When I went to school, we had a lot of striking before, and they had a lot of cuts. And I was affected by that. We had a lot of shortages in the classrooms and things that we didn't get to do as students and things I didn't get to learn. And I don't want to see it happening again because it affects everybody really in the long run.
Michael Mohorevich, TBT News.
Meanwhile, officials with the Lakehead School Board are also struggling to deal with the unplanned 3-day cancellation of their elementary classes. School boards across the province have no choice but to sit and wait while the government and the unions try to come to an agreement. Public high schools and elementary schools with both the Lakehead and Catholic boards will be closed tomorrow due to the OSSTF's one-day strike. Also, as mentioned, Lakehead Elementary Schools will be closed on Wednesday and Thursday due to the ETFO strike. Director of Education Ian McCrae says the situation is frustrating because of how frequent the strikes are becoming and the impact on their school days and students. However, he says he's not surprised that it's all coming to a head.
Right from the start, when the bargaining was done very publicly, I had a concern that was perhaps not going to lead to a quick resolution, and I certainly think that that's played out over the last number of weeks, and it's unfortunate. We certainly won't be pursuing a bargaining strategy of that nature, but I wish the province and the unions and federations well in coming to a resolution in the very near future.
McCrae says the school board does have a system in place to help students make up for missed classes. He says it's similar to what they did last year at Hammersholt High School after a dozen school days were canceled due to anonymous threats. As federal officials continue their efforts to bring Canadian residents home, the Ontario government released an update on the status of coronavirus in our province. To date, 108 people have been tested for the virus, with just 3 turning up positive, and health officials say all 3 are showing signs of improvement. Colin DeMello reports.
The presence of novel coronavirus in Ontario has so far been fairly limited. Public health officials say of the 108 people who have been tested for the virus, only 3 have been confirmed positive, and all 3 are on the mend.
They're all doing well. They're being monitored by public health, local public health, and they would be released when we get 2 negative specimens at least 24 hours apart, which I don't believe has happened yet.
Of the 26 people under investigation, officials say some fall outside of the case definition of a carrier of the virus.
There are a small number, as Dr. Williams indicated, who came from other parts of China and have symptoms, and the clinician, the physician taking care of the patient felt there was concern and wanted the corona testing done in consultation with the lab.
For officials in Ontario, part of the focus is now turning to the hundreds of Canadians who are stuck in Wuhan's Hubei province and are looking to get onto a plane chartered by the federal government to return to Canada.
These are individuals who have come from a difficult situation, unique circumstances that they have only, that we don't know details of. We don't have the manifest and who is coming.
With little to no information about them, Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health says residents should be reassured about the safety precautions that are being taken.
In order to even get to the airport, you have to be screened. In order to get inside the airport, you have to be screened by Chinese authorities. In order to get on the plane, you have to be screened. So there's a number of screens taking place before you even get on the plane. And then you're monitored throughout the flight, and then as soon as you get off, you're screened again.
Confederation College IT staff are busy trying to figure out what went wrong after a possible attack on their web services over the weekend. At this point, it's unclear if the incident to their malware on Saturday morning was caused by a virus, a cyber attack, or a separate factor. With the Confederation College email system unavailable, the college turned to social media to inform thousands affected. As of today, most essential features were restored, including Wi-Fi, Microsoft Office applications, and the Made Hub for all program materials. College officials insist that students' confidential information was not compromised, and they've installed additional protective software while they try to get to the source of the problem.
How this has happened as of yet, but we will be conducting a forensic investigation with our cybersecurity expert. That'll take a number of weeks to do, but no doubt it will identify the root cause of why this occurred.
Zubak says they should have their internal email up and running in the next couple days. The college is also offering deadline extensions to students who were impacted by the lack of online services. A big turn of events at City Hall leading into tonight's meeting. According to the latest report from Thunder Bay's Integrity Commissioner, none of the 3 city councillors facing conflict of interest allegations did anything wrong. After seeking out the legal opinion of a municipal law expert, Integrity Commissioner Brian Tario's latest report indicates Councillor Brian Hamilton was not in violation of Ontario's Conflict of Interest Act when he participated in a council vote on the controversial designated truck route. The complaint was launched by fellow councillor and truck route advocate Trevor Gertuga in October. The Integrity Commissioner initially ruled that Hamilton did violate the act when he asked how the DTR would affect his restaurant business. But it's now been determined that while Hamilton does have a monetary interest in the truck route, it's no greater than that of any other downtown business owner. He's free to participate in future council votes on the matter. Councillors Albert Aiello and Brian McKinnon aren't in conflict either for speaking out against a proposed transitional Indigenous housing complex that's to be built next to the Boys and Girls Club. A previous council voted to donate the land to the developer in 2018. It's been determined that neither Aiello nor McKinnon's actions at a public meeting held in June rose to the level of actively undermining council's decision. However, the report states that Aiello, who's also the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club, should not participate in any council decisions on the housing complex. Aiello wasn't a member of the council that voted to donate the land. Councillors will also hear from members of the public tonight regarding the 2020 municipal budget, which is approved in principle this past Wednesday. It's the last chance for residents to weigh in before the document is ratified next week. A follow-up now to a story we first brought you on Friday. The city is releasing more information about its plan to stop adding sodium hydroxide to our drinking water. The chemical was first introduced in 2016 to reduce lead particles for residents with lead pipe service connections. It appears, however, the change may now be causing pinhole leaks in copper pipes around the city. Avery McRae reports.
The city of Thunder Bay will be suspending a water treatment program that reduces the amount of lead in many residents' drinking water. Despite the success of the program, the city has received increased reports of pinhole leaks in residential copper pipes in the past 2 months, including a leak at the Canada Games complex just a few weeks ago. The number of homes affected is unknown, and the amount of money it will cost the city has yet to be determined. City Environment Director Michelle Warwoda is urging all homeowners to check their pipes for any potential leaks.
For anybody, any homeowner to, have a look at their own infrastructure within their property, and if they do suspect that they have a leak, a pinhole leak, that they should call a licensed plumber and have it fixed as soon as possible.
Now, is that cost going to be coming back to the city, or is it going to be cost for the homeowners to have to fix those pipes?
That would be at the homeowners at their cost, so they would have to go through their insurance company or whatever means they have.
Over the next 2 weeks, the city will contact around 8,700 water customers who have lead service connection through a letter in the mail. Lead found in drinking water can pose significant health risk, and for the short term, those customers will receive a free water filter jug like this one. And the sodium hydroxide will continue to be added until all customers have a proper filter.
The whole purpose of this is to get our message out right now, to let our customers know that this change is coming, and we are going to make sure that the filters are delivered to the homeowners that have the lead service connections before we do make any changes to our drinking water system.
The city has yet to make any long-term decisions on an effective way to reduce the lead level in the water. Along with the Thunder Bay District Health Unit, the city will continue to look into other corrosion control options and hope to implement them in the near future. Avery McRae, TBT News.
The investigation has come to a close into a weekend fire that saw a mother and her 2 children rescued by Thunder Bay fire crews. It broke out Friday night behind an East End home at the corner of Connolly and McLaughlin Streets. Crews were making sure all residents were out when they realized 2 people on the 2nd floor needed to be brought out through a window using the aerial ladder as the fire was blocking their exit. No one involved was harmed in the incident. Fire Prevention Officer Kevin Anderson gave us some insight on the cause of the blaze.
It was determined that the fire did start underneath the steps at the rear of the home. And, there was some garbage and cardboard and other combustibles that started it. It was very close to the sidewalk, so, it looks like somebody, set it up by either a cigarette or something had to have started it because there was no other source of ignition in the area.
Witnesses saw an individual leaving the scene, resulting in Thunder Bay Police beginning their own investigation. Anderson says this fire is a prime example for residents to know their home's exit points in case of an emergency. The suspect in an armed robbery of a Southside convenience store 2 months ago is now behind bars. Thunder Bay Police initially responded to the incident on the evening of December 1st at the Circle K on South Waterloo Street. Surveillance images showed the suspect pointing a long rifle at a cashier. The discarded firearm from the incident was recovered by police the following day. The break-and-enter armed robbery unit conducted the investigation and arrested a 20-year-old Thunder Bay man last Friday. He's been charged with 6 crimes, including robbery with a firearm and possession of a weapon obtained by crime. We're now into February, and the celebration of Black History Month has begun. The first of many events for Thunder Bay took place this weekend. The Caribbean African Multicultural Association held a movie night with films showing important stories of notable people from the Black community. The event was open to anyone wanting to celebrate or learn more. This year marks the most events CAMAT has ever put on for Black History Month. President Colleen Peters hopes the community comes out in large numbers to expand their views of their fellow residents.
We're hoping to engage our youth, engage our families, invite people out to learn about our traditions, our culture, and get to know your neighbor. The community of Thunder Bay is changing. We're more diverse, and so it's a great opportunity to learn about people from around the world.
To see where the next Black History Month event takes place, you can visit the CAMAT Network website. Many city residents were enjoying the mild weather yesterday by taking part in the weekly Winter Fun Days. The latest activity at Prince Arthur's Landing explored the creative side with a lesson in snow sculpting. Corey Nordstrom reports.
Judy Vinny and Willow Springs Creative gave a crash course in snow sculpting to dozens of eager participants for this week's version of Winter Fun Days. With a bit of guidance, groups were tasked with following a set design, starting with only a block of snow and watching it transform into the finished project.
We have a I Heart Thunder Bay sculpture. We have a turtle that is skating, a beaver that's curling, and a bear that's sliding.
In addition to the large carvings, smaller creations were made by the young ones, like the pair of houses 11-year-olds Bella Brizard and Myra Carpenter built.
She just asked, like, make a heart, or you could do whatever you like about Thunder Bay, and I like houses in Thunder Bay.
For many, building snowmen was about the only experience they previously had with snow carving, but for those who like to show their creative side, it's just another outlet.
I wanted to do it because it looked fun, and I like to do art stuff.
Everyone's creative. You just have to find your medium, and snow is forgiving, and you can do anything with it.
Paige Johnson heard about the fun at the waterfront from a friend and decided it would be a good activity for her and her 2 daughters to enjoy together.
It's fun to be outside. It's fun to do something that you've never done before because you're learning with them. They're learning to do something, you're learning to do something, and you get fresh air. The fresh air, the company, it's all good.
Next week's activities at Marina Park include a skate with the Lakehead Thunderwolves and Special Olympics sports postage stamps. Corey Nordstrom, TBT News.
All right, Fiona, well, because of the Super Bowl last night,